want me to re-ask the question?
Yeah.
What have you been up to today?
I've been doing all of it. So I flew in from Boca this morning at like 8 a.m. Andrew's cousin was getting married. So we were in West Palm Beach doing that. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Flew back really tired. I had like 6 or 7 weeks of my couch to coders like runway lined up. And I've just been making such a little progress. Now I've used up my whole runway.
Oh, yeah.
So I was finishing up my course for the week this morning, like after I got back. Yeah.
Stressful.
It's fine. But anyway, so I did that. And then I started doing my notes again for lessons in chemistry because I had deviated after we got so far into Elantris. I got tired. But now I stopped doing notes. I just started highlighting and I was like, we're going to start riffing. Like, I feel comfortable. But with lessons in chemistry, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know how to talk about things anymore. Plus, I haven't read this book.
Yeah, new material.
Yeah, so I don't know everything like I do in Elantris.
Yeah, this is the first book actually that neither of us have read before.
I was wondering about that, how that's going to go down, if that's going to be a good format for us, or if it's better to have like the guide. Who knows?
I think either one can work. I think we're probably, if we want to do current books, it'll have to be books neither of us have read.
Probably. Well, we could alternate.
One of us could read ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of nice because were you like, oh man, I want to keep reading, but I have to stop?
No, because I only read at night as I'm going to bed. So my eyes are usually, I'm like prying them open, trying to read that last sentence anyway.
Yeah, your window of reading's already shorter. So
yeah,
3 chapters is perfect.
Exactly. So what did you do this weekend?
I was in Oklahoma. So Josh's dad gave us an early Christmas gift, me, Josh, and his brother, and he took us to the casino in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. We went to Ringo Starr's All-Star Band on Friday. So we saw Ringo Starr. I know, it was really cool. So we saw
He's
Ringo
still around?
I also didn't know that. I had also
wow.
he had passed away. But no, he's kicking it. He's like 82 years old and he was there like in his skinny jeans and piece shirt that was like all bedazzled and he was like jumping around. And then he puts together this all-star band every year. And this year it had 2 people who had been with Toto and I didn't know all the other people, but like they were all really good and they were all really old and like still rocking out.
Well, did you know that Ringo was part of the Beatles?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, I know who Ringo is, but I didn't realize he was part of the Beatles until I just Googled him.
Oh, you did?
The Beatles were like peaking in 1960s, which is when our book is set.
Whoa, what a tie-in.
I know.
Oh,
how cool is that?
That is
so was
cool.
he good or was it like an old man drumming? Does he sing?
He does sing. Yeah, so he actually has he went solo for, he's solo. I don't know if he was like kind of kicked off the Beatles. I don't really know how all that went down. Maybe he was with them the whole time. I really don't know. But anyways, he has a solo thing going on now. And he does sing. But like they all alternated. So they're all playing each other's music. So like they played Africa by Toto. They played a lot of other big songs. And they played Yellow Submarine. And that was pretty cool because we got to sing Yellow Submarine with Ringo Starr.
That is so cool.
It actually was super cool. I did it. I was like, wow. Like I wouldn't have chosen to go to this, but actually this is really cool.
Yeah. Sometimes there's like blasts from the past and you're like, they're actually good.
I know.
So I just want to give all of our listeners, hi mom, a heads up that I'm going to be saying a lot of things out of pocket and they're just not going to make sense. So please write in if I say something incorrectly. But who is Toto? I know he did the Africa song.
That's pretty much all I know too.
Okay.
But that's the band. It's called Toto.
Oh, it's a band.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So at Toto, they played Toto, and there's another song by them that was really popular. I know I'm not great with music either. I mean, we grew up in the same house, so we know the same music from.
I tell people, have you seen Kimmy Schmidt?
No, but she was
It,
like locked up for her whole life, right?
it's about a girl that grew up in like a bunker. She got kidnapped as a young girl and she lived underground in like this weird religious cult thing
Oh
with
my
like
God.
4 other women. And then she emerges in like her mid 20s and she has to like figure out life. And I watched it and I actually related to it a lot in a way that I don't think the writers intended for their audience to connect with it.
Homeschooling is similar to being locked in a bunker. I mean, homeschooling is great in lots of ways, but I have some friends who were homeschooled who I met in college. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, in college was really interesting because I was finally getting into all the things that people were into during like our middle school years and high school years, but I just didn't know about them because I was homeschooled. And so now whenever she's talking with people, if there's like a reference, she's like, I really don't know any references before like 2015. So you're
I
going
say
to
2010.
get
I say 2010. I say I was in the bomb shelter before 2010. So don't give me any references. Even if I lived through it, I don't know it.
It's
So
true.
I did a lot of last minute history Googling on
Oh,
this book.
okay. Do you want to share some? Okay. Should we also introduce this book of like why we chose it? Because not everyone maybe follows our Instagram and only 6
Oh,
people
you're
liked our
right.
photo. So in fact, we should assume no one has seen the photo.
We could also assume that 100% of our listenership liked the photo. We don't know.
There's 2 ways to interpret the number.
Yes, it just depends on how you want to do it. Yeah. So Chrissy, why don't you tell everyone what we're doing?
Yes. Okay. So okay, clearly you're listening to it because you're hearing us right now. But you may notice that this is our second episode released of this week. We released our normal Elantris episode on Monday, but now on Wednesday, you're getting a special episode on lessons in chemistry. And this is for a few reasons. One is Elantris has become a very long book. And so Candice and I are about to film our last episode. We still haven't yet. I was talking to Josh about this. He's like, you've been reading that book for literally half a year.
I know.
It's been so long.
I know.
It's really good. But anyways, and as we're recording this, we're about to release episode 11 of Elantris. So that's like asynchronous. Anyways, all that to say, we have a lot of Elantris left. And we want to read this book called Lessons in Chemistry. And if we waited until the end of Elantris, it'd already be next year. But we want to ride the high of the Netflix series that's being released today, I think, or I don't know, Sunday or something.
It got released 2 days ago from us speaking right now.
Okay. So
probably
Friday.
1 week. Yeah. It got released last Friday, 2 days ago. Today's Sunday. And we're going to release it Wednesday. So
yeah,
5 days after we are doing it.
Yeah. Hot off the press. Bookalicious is on the bandwagon.
Yeah. We're bandwagoning and hopefully Brie Larson doesn't flop. And she rides. Yeah, she's the Elizabeth, the main girl.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully she does a good job because I did get mixed reviews about not Wonder Woman, Miss Marvelous.
Oh, the Marvelous Miss Maisel or something.
No. Marvel Woman.
Oh, wait, she played Marvel. What's her name? Is it Marvel?
See,
I don't even know current references. I can't blame it on being homeschooled. This is just
who I
am.
I saw the movie, but she's like Captain Marvel.
Okay. All right, sure. Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Okay.
So that person is playing Elizabeth?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Brie Larson was also, all of this is Everything is connected. And if you don't believe that now, you will as soon as I say this. Brie Larson starred in a movie where she was kidnapped and kept in a bunker.
What? Whoa. We are Brie Larson.
No, because she was sexually assaulted and then had a baby in there. But she did miss out on pop culture references while she's in there. So that part is the same.
Yeah, same. We can relate.
Yeah, we can relate. I'm trying to see what that movie was called. I think it was called Room.
Oh, okay. Room.
And it was actually quite good. Yes, it was excellent. It was done in 2015. One of her best. If you have time to watch it tonight, I would suggest.
Well, you know what I was thinking, Candy?
What?
We could have a little fun spin-off series on Bookalicious called TV-licious, where we have a watch along with lessons in chemistry. Maybe not a watch along, but we just watch it and then we talk about it.
I was thinking about that too.
I think it'd be fun.
Oh my God. I know. How far can we ride this wave? But my question is, should we wait until we're done with the book?
I think so. I think we should read the book first and then watch the show.
Okay.
We should read the book pretty quick, I think.
We'll try. But when I started underlining, I underlined the first line. I was like, oh no.
It's starting again.
And then I went down this like deep rabbit hole trying to learn all the history that I never learned. And so now I'm going to tell you all about it.
Please do.
Okay, but let's do our intro.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, well, welcome everybody to Bookalicious, a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy.
I'm Candice.
And today we're starting our new book called Lessons in Chemistry. If you voted on our Instagram poll, thank you for your input. We did not take it. We chose our own book. We forgot that part in the intro.
Well, that episode hasn't come out where we decide a tenet of Bookalicious is to always solicit feedback and never take it. But it is coming probably in 3 months. But we did say this half a year ago.
Yep. So you're calling it.
Yeah. So we knew ahead of time that we were going to ask you, our 3 listeners, for feedback and that we would ignore it.
And so here we are doing it.
Yes. There was a lot of interest in the Housemaid.
Yes.
Which is like a murder mystery book. Maybe we'll do that next. But what really put chemistry on the top is that there is a TV show about it. And while we do love our 5 listeners, we want to double
popularity more.
Yeah, we're sellouts. First and foremost, we're sellouts.
Another tenant.
Second tenant, we're sellouts. So we're doing chemistry. So that's how it happened.
Yep. And now we're here. And now Candy has a history lesson for us.
I have a history lesson for us. Okay. So the first thing I did is I wanted to read about the author because I felt like we got so many insights from Elantris because we had an idea of who the author was. And I was like, let's do that again.
Oh, I like that.
Turns out there's really not a lot to know because this is the author's first book.
Whoa, first one ever? Like she didn't even have a small one before this?
Nope. Wow. So very interesting author. Her name is Bonnie Garmus.
Okay.
And her background, she's 65 when she published this book.
Wow.
And it's her first book. Her whole life up until then, she had been working in copywriting for technical documents.
Okay.
And she focused in science, computers, and most recently in technology. And she worked her way up at all these different companies. And then she did something as like a creative director at an advertising agency.
Okay.
And that was in 2013. And she had an experience there that inspired her to write this book.
Oh.
So I pulled out from the LA Times, like a little snippet of it. And if you're okay with it, I'm going to read it, but it's kind of long.
Go for it.
Okay. We can always cut it out in post, although we won't because we're going to publish this in 2 days.
No posts. This is just raw footage.
Okay. So Bonnie is describing what inspired her to write this book. It was 2013, and Bonnie, was a creative director at an advertising agency in the Bay Area when she, the only woman in a pitch meeting for a major technology campaign, received no feedback for her presentation. Then, as she tells it, one of the vice presidents in the room, a man, essentially regurgitated everything she had just outlined and got full credit for the campaign.
Oh, no.
I know. I was like, ugh, been there. In quotes. This is Bonnie. I put up a fight because I'm not exactly a shrinking violet, she says, and everyone ignored me. I basically stomped back to my desk. But you know what? It was a really great thing in a way because I was in such a bad mood that instead of working on the deadline that I was supposed to be working on, I sat down that day and I wrote the first chapter of Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Published in March 2022, a few days before she turned 65, Lessons in Chemistry is Garmus's debut novel. It quickly became a bestseller, remaining on the New York Times bestseller list more than a year after publication and has been translated into 40 languages. It's a welcome and unexpected outcome for Garmus, who said the first book she finished and tried to get published was rejected 98 times.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. What a story.
Yeah. So I thought that was just like really cool. And what inspired her to write this novel, which is effectively about a woman in the 1960s experiencing discrimination, gender discrimination, she was still experiencing in tech in 2013.
Wow. That's interesting. And that's really fascinating because, I mean, you know, I don't know a ton about history. I definitely wasn't alive during this time to where it's like, I can imagine that this is how it was, but I also don't know, like, man, like how pervasive was this? And like, you know, I don't know. So it's just really interesting hearing this story and hearing
It
her
is
story
very interesting
that it happened 10 years ago.
Yes. And I didn't even ask you to tee me up on that because my next thought was the same thing. So I said, what was happening in the 1950s and the 1960s?
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So this is Reader's Way In. I'm going to miss a lot. So if there was something very poignant and you want to tell us about it, you can put it on the Spotify little thing. I don't know if anyone's ever, well, I know no one's ever used it before, but maybe someone's used it in Spotify history. I don't know. Or you could email us.
Maybe. bookalicious.pod@gmail.com.
That's right. Okay. So here we go. So 1950s, right before the setting. And this is where chapter 3 is set.
Okay.
Which we'll get to, dear listener. Okay. So we're in the recovery from World War II. There's the ideological clash between communism and capitalism. That's fueling a lot of like the Cold War stuff. You have decolonization of Africa and Asia. Within America, this is when all the baby boomers were born or getting started to be born. And one of the things I thought was interesting is that television was in almost all homes by 1950s, and it is dubbed the golden age of TV.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of why she ends up on the TV show.
Yeah.
Is kind of the setting. And then this also led to an increased mass of consumerism in America. And something else I noted is that the polio vaccine is invented.
Okay.
And Our Lady is into DNA chemistry.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with DNA. But maybe she invents it.
I don't know.
Chrissy, as our resident biologist, is looking at me dubiously.
I honestly don't super know how vaccines work, and there's a lot of different kinds. I know that the COVID one was not the first mRNA vaccine, but that's one that does like kind of more interact
the
with
DNA stuff.
It's like, yeah. Okay, no, I don't know if it's quite DNA. It says that it produces antibodies in the blood. So I think the idea is more so like you're injecting part of the polio like antigen or whatever. And then
well, that's the most Chrissy's ever disagreed with me.
That's the closest thing we've had to a fact check on here.
And just so y'all know, Chrissy is in a graduate program for biology.
Yeah, that made this book extra interesting, actually. I was like, oh, I know these words.
Okay, good. I hope you will be like our dictionary to translate because I started highlighting them and I was like, forget it.
I know. I kind of like that though, of like there was science in here. And that's interesting hearing that she was a copyright person for science things, because like that makes sense that she would probably pick up on a lot of the language. But it's like not over the top, I don't think, of science language in the book, to where it's like, you can still follow everything that's going on.
Yeah,
Even if you don't know what it is.
when I was first reading it before I knew her background, I was like, no one talks like this. This is annoying. You're annoying. But then I read all of her stuff and I was like, okay, like I see what she's doing and I will believe that these two nerds do just randomly talk about weird chemistry things to each other.
My perspective has changed a lot since being in a science grad program. So I'm like, yeah, I could see that.
So you're saying that is correct.
I think it could be. Like
It could be.
you do talk about science a lot. And like you get really specific in this field that to other people you're like, that's crazy. But it's like, actually, I spent all day thinking about this, so this makes sense that I'd be talking about
it. Well, good. That does make sense then. Okay, so that was the 1950s. 1960s was dubbed the countercultural decade.
Okay.
So basically, it's just a movement away from all of your quote traditional values. You have a lot of things going on. So I listed the Beatles.
Nice.
They were there. The US presidents, just so we have an idea. You had Eisenhower, JFK, who died, LBJ, and then Nixon is in the 1960s. Okay. Cold War, as we know, with JFK is getting heated between America, Cuba, all of that. There's this book called The Feminine Mystique, which is published, and that is credited for the second wave of feminism.
Oh, okay.
And we'll circle back to that soon. So in 1963 to 1965, these are all of like the big hits that are happening. Civil rights becomes a central issue. Martin Luther King has his I Have a Dream speech. 1963, the Equal Pay Act. Women get paid the same as men, in theory. 1965. For the law, not practice. 1964 Civil Rights Act, outlawing racial segregation in schools, public places, and employment. Again, in theory.
Right.
That would not happen for a very long time, and in some places is still
a little dubious.
Still not quite right. Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Okay. 1965, laws to outlaw discriminatory voting practices that had impacted Black Americans in the U.S. So something that has recently come up, I think it's Alabama. It's Louisiana, Alabama, or Mississippi, somewhere in that area. Basically, the Republicans wanted to push in this type of bill that would basically make it such that the Black vote in the state would be completely neutralized.
Oh, yeah.
And they tried to pass it like 10 times. And each time, like the Supreme Court's like, you can't do that. That's actually against this law. Like, you can't do that. But they kept trying. So just to say, like, those types of things are still alive and well in certain areas. So just because the law has been made does not mean that it in practice goes how we would like it to go. So this led me to the feminist waves.
Okay.
And that is its whole other thing. And I really couldn't get into all of it. But I did put just a couple notes. So first wave of feminism was late 19th to early 20th century. And then that culminated basically with suffrage granted to women in 1920. So they were allowed to vote. And I remember hearing this from another podcast or something else. I didn't find a source quite for it, so grain of salt. But what I believe the mantra was at this time is that women were kind of like, white women were kind of like, we're going to get the right to vote, and then we'll help you guys out later.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're like, you guys need to just, you guys being people of color, Black women, right. You guys need to stand down. We'll get our rights and then we'll come back for you.
Yeah.
Because we can't do it all at once was kind of the idea.
Right.
So after that, it was a nice good 40 years later. And then I guess we decided to circle back. And
like, oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Okay. So then the second wave of feminism pops up. And this is from the 60s to 90s. And then this is propelled by women of color, developing nations, just minorities in general. And I think a lot of that, you just had so much going on with everything all at the same time. All minorities were getting a lot more attention that they had not gotten in a long time. Sexuality and reproductive rights were really big issues there. And actually, now I'm thinking about it. When was Roe v. Wade? 1973. Okay. Yeah, so right around that same time. And then there were equal rights amendments guaranteeing social equality regardless of sex. And then the feminine mystique. So I never heard of this book. Have you?
I don't think so.
Me either. It actually seems like it's a very interesting book. So basically, it was a woman, and she did a lot of interviews and oral histories of different housewives and women of the time, and just getting like what their experiences were. And she was just finding this central theme that you have all of these women who were like pretending to be very happy and pleasant on the outside, and they were really just like bummed out that they were stuck at home cooking, getting treated second class.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's another book, The Second Sex, which was done by a French woman, Simone de Beauvoir. I don't know how to say French. I'm so sorry, but that seemed like a very important book also. And then there's a third wave of feminism that started happening in the mid 1990s. And young women were kind of like, we're going to reclaim feminine beauty. We don't have to be like bra burning, not dress like quote unquote feminine. We're gonna put on our lipstick, or this is literally what it says. Young women readopted lipstick, high heels, cleavage, low necklines, which had previously been viewed as oppression by the women before. So kind of flipping back and kind of being like, I'm gonna dress sexy for me.
Yeah.
And then there's a fourth and maybe a fifth wave, and I ran out of time.
But that's a good setting for the book. That is where we are.
Yes, that's kind of why I was like, okay, I got tired. Feminism is its own field,
right?
Is what I ascertained.
Yes, I think that's a good conclusion. Wow, thanks for doing all that research, because that really does help bring some more, setting for where we are.
Yeah. Okay, so let's, if that's good, if you don't have any comments, we can just jump right into chapter 1.
We can, unless, did you want to do judge a book by its cover?
Oh my God, yes, we have to.
Okay, so also I actually bought the book. It's partly because I was going to rent it from the library, but my library account was like locked or something, and I couldn't tell if it was there. And anyways, I needed it, so I got it from Amazon.
Wow, good for you.
Right, thank you.
You're an outlaw at the library.
It's after I kept the Elantris forever.
Yeah, they were probably like, this girl, you can't take any more books.
One and done. Okay, so what did you think about the cover? What do you think the book was about? Is it a book you'd pick up?
I thought it would be a book that I'd pick up. I like the colors. It's like pretty coral. I like how it's like chemistry, which is science-y, but the woman on the cover, she's like very, I would consider her like attractive, and her like one eyebrow's raised, like she's kind of inquisitive or like dubious. So it just seems very interesting.
Yeah, I think it is a really interesting cover. It kind of looks like a little mystery, maybe. I think that might be what my gut feeling would be, because she looks like she's trying to find something out or something.
Yes.
I think it also looks really fun. I don't know though. Like, I feel like if I saw this book, I'd think like, oh, that seems like a nice book to read, like on the beach or something, like a vacation book. But I wouldn't think necessarily that it's a book where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be like really challenged, or it's going to be really life-changing. But it seems like because of the reviews I've read, that it's like, actually, this is a really good book.
You know what? It does look like a fluff book.
Kind of, right? Which is interesting, because that's kind of the whole thing with women in science.
I was just thinking that. I was like, whoops, whoops.
I know. So I guess I'm doing the same thing. That is the problem.
Well, I think they talk about this a little bit in the book, which we'll get to in these first 3 chapters. But I think a lot of times when it comes to feminism, it's a lot of times posited as like man versus woman.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times women ourselves, we are part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like we're not helping out our fellow woman, or we're trying to like tear each other down, or sometimes we have internalized misogyny about ourselves,
Yeah.
So I think, because I had the same thought that as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah. Right.
I
Yeah.
know,
It's sometimes
bummer.
harder to notice in yourself because you're like, well, I'm a woman. I wouldn't have misogyny. Not so much
Right.
what we had, but
And I have such a high opinion of myself.
I would never be wrong.
I think
Tenet.
that another
We are never wrong. That's why we
never
don't have a
wrong.
fact check.
Don't need one.
Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Chapter 1.
Yep. Chapter 1. Want to give a summary?
Yeah. Okay. So pretty short chapter, but we're picking up with like current day Elizabeth. That's our main character. And she's getting her daughter ready for school, and her daughter is like 5 or something. But we pick up that Elizabeth, the main character, is very exceptional, and her daughter is also very exceptional. We learn that her daughter, whose name is Madeline, learned to read when she was 3, when most people were like just learning their alphabet. And now at the age of 5 was already through most of Dickens, which I thought was kind of funny. But Elizabeth is packing her daughter's lunch, and she's writing her all these notes of like, don't let the boys win. People can be terrible. Learn lots of things, like motivational things, and also telling her daughter like, hey, stick up for yourself. But we also learn that Elizabeth does not seem very happy. It says that her life was this summary is getting kind of long.
That's okay.
Okay. But we also learn that from Elizabeth's perspective, she isn't loving her life right now. I think we learned that she's a chemist in this chapter, but that she's also the star of a cooking show. And that's what we've got.
Yes.
So there's my summary.
So my first note was, what was the 60s movement?
And
we already talked about that. So I'm going to scratch that one off. My second note was about Elizabeth's internal dialogue about her daughter's lunch, which you highlighted. And what she wrote in there was, play sports at recess, but do not automatically let the boys win. So how I took that as is she's saying, let the boys win like 60% of the time.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even pick up on that word.
I'm wondering if I misread it, or
I don't know. Yeah, automatically it's a different message than do not let the boys win. And I think part of it, because what we read, I think what we learned in this chapter, or maybe it's the next one or something. Yeah, we learned in this chapter is that Madeline sees that her mom is different from other people and that she's had trouble fitting in. And Madeline's like, I want to fit in. And actually, that was a line I highlighted later that says, to Madeline, fitting in mattered more than anything. And so she'll like pretend that she doesn't know how to read so that she can fit in with the other kids. And so maybe letting the other kids win is kind of part of that, of like, don't be so exceptional that you don't have friends. Maybe.
Yeah. That's how I took it. And I was just wondering if you have any experience in your life where you dimmed your brightness, particularly for, I would say, towards like a man or something like that in that context. But even if it's not that particular context, maybe just in general.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I can't think of anything like super major. Do you have an experience?
I feel like I have a lot, which
Oh, really?
is like
Oh, you
weird.
should share some. Maybe it'll help me think of some.
Well, so my background is in economics, which is typically male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
And then my professional experience was in sales, male dominated. And then now it's in data, which is again male dominated.
Okay.
So, you know, I see it less now in data than I did when I was like in sales or like even in undergrad. But I do remember sometimes on occasion, professors would make mention of, oh, well, you're like a woman. So, you in the opposite direction, you have an edge because of basically affirmative action, where it's like you can get in because you're a girl, like you don't, or they make comments about like my appearance sometimes. But
Interesting.
yeah, but I think the one that really came to mind when I read this is I was applying for a job out of grad school, and they were doing this weird thing where they're interviewing two people at the same time.
That is weird.
It was weird. The company was weird. And then they wanted to do like a culture fit to see how you got along with everyone.
Okay.
And they had a Nintendo 64 and they had Super Smash Brothers. And they're like, oh, do you want to play? And I was like, sure, like I'll play. And it's me and the guy I'm interviewing with, he's like total nerd, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's me and the nerd. And then they had like their reigning champ playing Super Smash. And it's the three of us playing. And
Did you demolish?
I won. And then everyone in the little room, they're like, oh my God, the champ, he got beat. Da, 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 da. So me and the nerd walk out, and then the owner of the company is a small business. He goes and he congratulates the guy.
On what?
On winning.
So you just assumed it was him?
Yeah.
Okay. What did the guy say? Did he correct him?
No, I was like, it was me. And then I didn't get the job.
What?
And I don't know if that's why, but I feel like it didn't help.
Oh my gosh. Man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, like, there's some like more graphic things that happen in the book, but I think as far as the idea of like underestimating women in science or in male dominated field, like that's still alive.
Yes. Yes, I definitely agree.
I wonder though, and I was thinking about this throughout the book of like, there's probably a few reasons why maybe I don't have as many vivid experiences like you thought of. And part of that might be because I haven't had as much like work experience. It's been mainly in school. And part of that, and also part of being in biology, is that that's actually a more women dominated field. And in college, there's more women than men in college. And it depends on like, discipline you're in, of like if your class reflects that too. But I think in biology, it's like there's a ton of women around. And all of my biology professors have been women. But in chemistry, it's actually flipped, where it's a male dominated field, and all of my chemistry professors have been men. So that's fascinating.
And this is me just, putting another stereotype on a stereotype. Is that because chemistry is more math focused?
That's my thought too. And again, not saying that women can't do math, because that's not the case, but that if like a professor assumes that a woman can't do math, then like maybe like less encouraging in chemistry class, or like doesn't recommend her for the chemistry research, but recommends the guy. Or like there could be a whole list of reasons. It could also be that I don't know why biology became more women dominated, or at least like there's just more women in biology. But like if you don't see any women chemistry professors, then that like representation has an impact, and so you might just not see yourself there. So yeah, so I don't know entirely what it is. That was my thought too, though, was maybe it's because it's math related.
Yeah I mean, I always grew up thinking I was bad at math.
Was it because you're a woman though, or is it because of homeschooling things?
Because I was actually bad at math. I think it was probably a little bit of both, but I don't know. I don't want to say that like, oh, I felt I was a girl and that's why I felt like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I guess I just gave myself more of a pass
Oh, yeah.
where I was like, I'm not really expected to be super good at this anyway,
Yeah. I could see that.
you know? And it wasn't until later in life. And then I just sat down and learned it. And then I was like, oh, I'm not a dum-dum. I just needed to like sit down and like be taught it
Yeah.
and sit down and maybe it takes me a little bit longer than other people, but I think that's another misnomer too, is that if you're not fast at picking something up, that it means you're not good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole education system is built for people who can do it quickly and like take a test.
Yeah.
And write it down quickly. I'm like, this doesn't reflect anything.
No.
We're missing so much. But I remember thinking in kindergarten of like, I remember thinking like, oh, I forget, like is it that boys are smarter or that girls are smarter? Like trying to figure out what the stereotype is and just kind of accepting it like as truth of like, oh, that's what it is. And part of that maybe was because remember that rhyme of like girls go to college to get more knowledge and boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. Like there's just little things like that where it's like little kindergarten me thought that was actually a thing.
Yes.
That was actually truth, that like one gender is better than the other or something.
Well, and not
things.
and not to bring it back to religion, but to bring it back there. I think with Christianity, you really do have, at least like how we were raised, it's like women are suited for these things. Guys are suited for these things. They don't mix. Like I remember like we were kids and there's like a female pastor or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, that was like, ooh, no, it's supposed to be guy pastors. And I was like, what if I wanted to be a female pastor? And like parents were not very supportive of that. And I was like, you're telling me if I had a church and I believed all the same things you believe. I'm like 10 years old. I believe all the same things you believe and I'm doing it, that you wouldn't come. And it was like, we're not going to talk about that. But you know what I'm saying? Like kind of having that. And that's not the, our parents or whoever like just made that stuff up. That's right. That's what was taught. That's how it was at the time. That was like the expectation. So.
Yeah. Josh back in. He says hi.
Oh my God. Our third podcast guest.
I haven't read the book though, so sorry guys.
Oh, okay.
I think Joshua and Andrew could be on our listen along.
I think so.
I think that could be fun.
I think that would be fun. Yeah.
We all watch it together anyway. But yeah.
Andrew does hate Brie Larson and he said he won't watch the show. What? But I think but I think I can convince him.
But yeah, in response to what you said. Yeah, I could see how that plays a role into things. And like just how that shaped our whole mindset, like as a culture too, like how influential that's been. And like that understood rightly, it's not saying, I don't know, that there is equality. I think like it can be misunderstood really easily. And that's led to a lot of harmful things.
Yes, because I think, there are certain differences between men and women just genetically. There are just certain hormones, there are certain things, there are differences. But you can have differences and it doesn't mean that one can't do the other. Yeah.
Although this will come up in a later chapter, but I underlined something and I have a question for you, but we'll have to get there. And we're still on chapter 1, which is a page long.
Shoot. Okay. Let's go to chapter 2.
Wait, no, I had more things in chapter 1.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay. So my first thing was in that first paragraph where it's like introducing everything. And it says, like back when the big wars were over, the secret wars had just begun and people were starting to think fresh and believe everything was possible. The 30-year-old mother of Madeline Zott rose before dawn every morning and felt certain of just one thing. Her life was over. And this stuck out to me for 2 reasons. One, it doesn't mention her name. It mentions her role as mother of Madeline Zott. Which I thought was interesting. And I also wanted to ask you, why do you think her life was over? Like when you read that, I don't know. Did that bring anything up of like, what's this talking about?
Yeah, I think I just read that as here is a woman who is so far deviated from where she wanted to be. And when you have something as serious as a child, there are no do-overs, there are no take-backs, there are no going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of things where it's like, oh, I tried this career and I can still, like the author of this book, she's 65, she publishes a book.
Yeah.
You can still do stuff like that. But there are certain things where it's like, I have a kid now. I can't go back to not having a kid.
Right. Yeah, it really changes things.
It just changes things in a very permanent way.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I took that.
Yeah. I think I kind of took it in a similar way too. And also just like the reality, especially of motherhood, but also of fatherhood, maybe, of like, I mean, having a kid is a really serious thing. And it's such a beautiful thing and such a wonderful thing to be able to raise a child. But also it can be so consuming because you have to be everything for the child,
Yeah.
you know? And like I've heard from a lot of moms that it's easy to like lose yourself in that time
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like lose your identity and the things that you like to do because you're so focused on someone else. And again, like what a beautiful thing to be able to do. And that takes so much like self-sacrificing and love to do that. But it's also just so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So
I had
anyways,
one more and then we can move
okay,
on.
go
All
for
right.
it.
So you kind of already alluded to this one, but the line was talking about how she'd go onto the TV set. And then her permanently depressed mother would set off for the television studio where she would don an apron and walk out onto a set. And I underlined it because I thought it was like a fun line and it tickled me, but I didn't really think anything of it until I was doing my research and the feminine mystique, which the author said was a big inspiration for her writing.
Oh,
And it talks about all of these housewives who were not happy being a housewife. And so I'm imagining Elizabeth Zott, she's doing her thing. And then when she goes on this TV set, she's literally putting herself in a box to fit everyone else's needs and like cook them dinner.
yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, that's kind of like a picture of what all the women were doing maybe at that time.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Also interesting, this is my last note, is that they were in a Southern Californian town of Commons. I think that's the name of like their neighborhood. Is that right?
Oh, I didn't note
It's
it
in
down.
that paragraph right there on that same page. It says in the town of Commons. So I think that's the town name. Anyways, I just feel like you just said, it's kind of setting up like this is like standard or like average woman cooking dinner for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's it.
The common woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. You're so smart.
Thanks. We're both so smart.
Yeah, you're right. I am so smart. Okay. Chapter 2?
Yeah, chapter 2.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay. So chapter 2, we're introduced to a new character. Her name is Amanda Pine, and she is a child at Madeline's school. And Madeline is Elizabeth's daughter. And anyways, Madeline, as we've heard, kind of has trouble fitting in. And Elizabeth learns that Amanda has been eating her daughter's lunch. And this is all so that Madeline can try to be her friend. But the mom is like, this is ridiculous. She can't eat your lunch. Anyways, so then she like storms into Amanda Pine's dad's office. And he's like the owner of a TV network or something. And she just kind of tells him the what for and is like, hey, your daughter can't eat my meal or eat my daughter's lunch. And he tries to say things, but she's like, nope, won't hear it. You need to fix it. Anyways, they have this whole exchange. But then at the end, he offers her a job and is like, hey, want to be on TV? And that's what we learn.
Yes.
Oh, and actually, no, at the end of this chapter, we we also hear more about her actually on TV. So we learn that she's really successful on TV. And we also learn that some of her reviews, they're all raving and they're great, but she gets this nickname, Luscious Lizzie, which is less than desirable.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
So the first thing I underlined was when Elizabeth is noticing that her daughter's clothes are hanging on her like bony frame.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, according to her calculations, Madeline's daily intake was exactly what her daughter required for optimal development, making weight loss scientifically inconceivable. Which, while I found like an entertaining line, I also am like, that's impossible. What if your daughter had a tapeworm?
Well, she goes through all those things after. She doesn't mention tapeworm specifically, but she says leukemia.
Well, I guess that's true. All right, you're right.
But I mean,
I stopped reading too soon.
But yeah, I mean, I think this whole book is just written in a really like fun way.
Yeah.
I like that line too. Do you think it's kind of like ridiculous that her inner monologue is this scientific and logical and stuff? Does
I'm
it
just
bother you?
imagining who this person is. And I think she's a little bit of a caricature, which is okay.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Your protagonist, they don't have to be a quote unquote real person.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was like interesting how like in her mind she's going, I designed this meal to be the exact down to the calorie what she needs. And if she's losing weight, it has to be some external force.
I know. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
She's a real scientist. Okay. So then after that, she's like, okay, something's going on. And then I think she sees Amanda Pine and she has like the marinara sauce on her mouth. And she's like, it's Amanda's fault. So then she goes and she finds Amanda's dad. And she actually tried calling the dad like 9 times or something and he never answered. So then she like goes into his office and says like, hey, your daughter's eating my lunch or eating my daughter's. Your daughter is eating my daughter's lunch.
Yes.
And the first line I have underlined here is that Walter Pine took in the woman who stood resplendent before him, her white lab coat casting an aura of holy light, save for one detail. The initials EZ emblazoned in red just above the pocket. And I just thought that was kind of interesting. Her initials are EZ.
I know.
What do you think
I was
that
like,
stands for? Or like what
well,
like it stands for Elizabeth Zott. But like why do you think she chose those initials?
well, I think it's just again where it's like she's wearing a white lab coat and she's so professional and all these things, but then her initials are describing her as easy. You know, like a floozy.
Oh,
and
that's what you thought? Like a floozy?
Like eat, like, you know.
Oh, that
like sexually easy.
Oh, interesting.
What did you think?
I guess I was more so thinking that like what she does is easy.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. That might be more of it.
I think I'm going to say a swing and a miss on that one. Just because. Oh, a thumbs up.
Isn't that weird? Okay, yeah. Side note: Zoom sees like what your hand motions are, and so I was like this, and it thought it was a thumbs up.
Oh, I thought the computer was agreeing with me.
No, see, look, yeah. If you do it, something will come up on your screen, and it'll say loading, and then it'll say thumbs up.
Oh, that's.
I guess yours doesn't do it.
That's both simultaneously cool and terrifying. So the only reason why I would take it in a sexual connotation is just the rest of the book.
Yeah.
A lot of times people are talking about how beautiful she is, and then they're not thinking about like her smartness.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm imagining her in this like very professional lab coat. And he even thinks later on, he thinks she's an actress.
Right. That's right.
He thinks she's a sexy scientist. And then it's like even her initials kind of betray her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely it.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I highlighted that too because I thought that was ironically funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you think about this whole interaction with Mr. Pine?
He just seems like what I would consider the stereotypical guy of that time, where his
Oh,
wife has left. He's needing to make his daughter lunch. He's probably not even thinking about it. He's going to work, dropping her off. His daughter's hungry. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
interesting. Yeah.
It's like he doesn't return any of her calls. You know?
Is that because he's just so busy? Or is it because he's like, unimportant?
I think it could be that I think it's probably that he's so busy. I don't think he's a bad person.
Yeah.
I think he's probably just really busy and overwhelmed as a single dad trying to figure all of this out.
Right.
But how I imagine a man at that time, stereotypically, is someone who's just focused on work and family is at home and he doesn't worry about them until, Saturday and Sunday.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because
What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think I had more sympathy for Mr. Pine because like, oh, he's trying to do this on his own and he's working and like that's
Yeah.
tough. And also I was like, oh man, like Elizabeth, like she keeps cutting him off and like isn't listening to what he's trying to say. And like that bothers me. But then also part of me is like, well, maybe she has to be that way because to demand attention, you have to be extra at a time like this. Like when you're a woman in the 1960s or 50s. And so maybe that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think a lot of Elizabeth's bristliness is conditioning.
Yeah, out of necessity.
Yeah, like I try to be nice and nobody listened to me.
Right.
So now I have to be like in your face and kind of emasculating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think he's an innocent victim who's just working, trying to be a single dad and forgetting to feed his daughter.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. Yeah. And so then towards the end of their interaction here, Elizabeth says, Mr. Pine, I'm sorry I don't have the time or resources to make your daughter lunch. We both know food is a catalyst that unlocks our brains, binds our family, and determines our futures. And then she goes on a little bit, but then that's the line that kind of catches his attention and is like, whoa, you need to be on TV with a cooking show.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do you think of that line?
I thought it was good. I'm just imagining him just completely starstruck by her. That she's so beautiful. She's so smart. She's just so like captivating.
Yeah.
And he's a producer and he's seeing dollar signs.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm kind of captivated by her too, though, through these pages. Where I'm like, wow, she's so cool. So spunky.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean when she's like a caricature. Like,
yeah,
she just seems like larger than life.
Right.
There was a line that I personally found funny that you probably wouldn't have picked up on.
Okay.
So she's talking about where she works to Mr. Pine.
Okay.
And he's like, where are you? Are you doctor? You from the school? And she's like, oh God, no. Elizabeth replied, I'm a chemist. I've come all the way over from Hastings on my lunch hour because you failed to return my calls. And when he continued to look baffled, she clarified, Hastings Research Institute, where groundbreaking research breaks ground. She exhaled at the vacuous tagline. And at first I was like, what a ridiculous tagline. And then I thought of Home Depot's tagline. Do you know what it is?
No. Is it like, isn't it like, let us help you do it or something like that?
How doers get more done. It's like where groundbreaking research breaks ground. I was like, same.
Some striking similarities.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's That's funny. This one's especially though.
Oh my
Like,
God.
oh gosh. That's so funny.
The next line that I underlined was about the supper at 6, which we learn a little bit more about her show. It says supper at 6 debuted 4 weeks later after this interaction. And while Elizabeth wasn't entirely keen on the idea, she was a research chemist. She took the job for the usual reasons. It paid more and she had a child to support. I was like, that is kind of the usual reasons. And that's a bummer.
Yeah. Wait, what was the last part you said?
I said, that is the usual reasons. And that's a bummer.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Not taking the job because you're like, oh, I can do so much good with this.
Exactly. Or I'm really interested in this.
Yeah. Right. Just like out of necessity.
Yeah. You're like, I've got a mouth to feed and I've got work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of her life seems like I need to do this out of necessity.
Yeah.
You know? Which is tough.
I know.
Okay. And then the next part is Elizabeth has her TV show and everybody loves it. And they're like, wow, this is great. It says it's not an exaggeration to say that when Elizabeth Zott finished cooking, an entire nation sat down to eat. And like even the president's watching the show and just everybody loves it. And then this is where we hear about the reviewer who says in passing referred to her as Luscious Lizzie, that ended up sticking. And even Madeline, who's her young daughter, could already see that the nickname belittled her mother's talents.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because it's like the EZ on her lab coat.
Yeah.
She's all the things, but it's like all you see is that she's a pretty package.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been reused.
And that's a bummer. Yeah. One of the lines that I underlined was that Elizabeth Zott was serious. She never smiled, she never made jokes, and her dishes were as honest and down to earth as she was. So I'm just imagining her as just a very no nonsense. I have no time for games. I have no time for laughs. I've got things to do.
Yeah.
And I think because she's so that way that observationally, it's very comical to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine watching that and thinking it's funny.
I mean, I would too. Just watching someone furiously beat eggs, being like, you need to get this done in under an hour. You know? Like, that's what I'm imagining. Just like so no nonsense. There's not one joke. It's just dead serious. This is what we're going to do. We've got to feed people, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I also thought the line, she ended every show with her signature line. Children, set the table. Your mother needs a moment to herself.
I liked it.
I was like, facts.
Bringing some reality here. Also, it reminds me of a little like, what's his name? The Neighborhood? Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yes.
Sounds like something Mr. Rogers would say. Like, help your parents. They need help.
Yes. And so we close the chapter with Elizabeth thinking of Calvin Evans.
Yeah. Left on a little cliffhanger.
Yep. And he's the star of chapter 3, which is a massive chapter.
We're getting into Elantris territory.
I know. Like, let's hurry.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Chrissy and I have been saying that for the past 5 months.
And here we are on our second book.
Yep. Okay.
Chapter 3. So a lot happens here.
I broke it out, and maybe this will help your summary.
Oh, please do.
Okay.
Maybe you can summarize if you want to.
No. That's your job.
Oh no.
But I will give you direction. I'll let you know if you did a good job or not.
Agreed.
Okay. So first we have Calvin's introduced. So that's 10 years later.
Earlier.
10 years earlier. Then we go another 2 years earlier. So now we're 12 years back in time. And that's when she's at school and basically how she gets kicked out of her PhD. And then we go back to 10 years earlier.
Right.
And then that's how it ends. So I think there's those 3 sections. I think maybe just summarize the first section.
That's very helpful. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so first section talking about this guy, Calvin Evans. And Calvin Evans is like this superstar researcher, but also he seems kind of like not super there. I don't know. Like he chose his college based off of the weather, but it turns out he was totally wrong about the weather. So he went to England so he would miss the rain. Then he gets there and he's like, does it rain here?
He is the classic book smart, only smart.
Yeah.
Like all this man knows is chemistry.
That's it.
Yeah.
So he really loves chemistry and he really likes to row is what we learn. And he also had 98 job offers by the time he was graduating Cambridge.
Oh my God.
And so that's nice. And that's where he and Elizabeth meet, is in their grad program, right? Or no, they meet when they're working at Hastings.
Yeah, they meet at Hastings.
Yeah,
and we also find out that Calvin has a big grudge.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He likes to hold grudges forever. So yeah, so
Yes.
they meet at Hastings. So at this point, they both have their chemistry degrees. I think he has his PhD. Do we know that? Or maybe not.
He does have his PhD.
Okay,
yes.
He has his PhD. She has her master's in chemistry, but they're both working at the same place, but in different labs. And we get this interaction where Elizabeth needs beakers for her experiment, and she's done all the things to try to get these materials. Like she's contacted her advisor and the materials manager and submitted all these forms, and like no one has gotten her beakers, which is like the most basic lab material that you could have. And so she's like, I literally can't do anything. So then she takes matters into her own hands and she marches into Calvin Evans' laboratory and is like, I heard you had extra beakers, so I'm taking them. And he's like, what? Who are you? And she's like, doesn't matter. And so then she takes them and leaves. Also he thinks that she's the secretary when she comes in. So they have a whole interaction. It's not great.
Yes.
She leaves very like angry and upset, and he's just kind of confused and also upset and like doesn't really know what happened. But anyway, she gets her beakers. So
yes. So he's described as 6 feet 4 inches tall, lanky and long, but he slouched to the right, probably a byproduct of always rowing stroke side. But the bigger issue was his face. He had a lonesome look about him, like a child who had raised himself, with large gray eyes and messy blondish hair and purplish lips, the latter of which were nearly always swollen because he tended to chew on them. But it gives him the caveat that he has nice teeth.
And that makes up for it all when he smiles.
Well, I guess in England it did.
I know that was a weird description where I was like, oh.
To our UK listener, if you come back, write in.
Can you confirm?
Can you?
Would nice teeth make up for everything?
Yes. Although I'm kind of wondering if he's built off of Chris Evans.
Oh, you think so? Why?
6 feet 4 inches, tall, lanky, blonde.
Is Chris Evans lanky?
Well, I mean, he's Captain America.
I don't know if
I guess he has brown hair. I guess I was imagining him as Captain America.
But with swollen lips and lonesome eyes.
I mean, kinda. And then Brie Larson, who's Captain Marvel, is...
Oh, wow.
I mean...
It's all
I don't
there.
know.
This is actually what's it called? The Marvel verse or whatever?
The Marvel verse, yeah.
The multiverse?
Yeah.
Is it called that?
Multiverse, yeah.
Here it is. This is the missing piece. It's gonna tie
This is how she gets her powers.
Yeah.
The end of the book is her developing some power thing that doesn't solve polio, but does but does give you superpowers.
There we go. That's our prediction.
That's it. All right. Good.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So you see Calvin. All right. What did you have any things highlighted from just the Calvin part before they interact?
Yes. So there was 2 lines. One line is, like so many brilliant people, Calvin just couldn't understand how no one else got it. And it was talking about how he has no patience with people.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that is very perceptive. I know many smart people who have no tolerance for the unintelligent or the people who just don't get it as quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So he's kind of like too smart for his own good.
He's too smart about chemistry.
Yeah.
Because, like we talked about, he's dumb. When it
and
comes
all
to everything
social
else.
situations, he doesn't seem great.
Yes. And I feel a lot of affinities towards Calvin.
Oh.
When it said he had been offered a fellowship at Harvard. This is after he made his big, huge publication. Twice, which he turned down twice. Partly because Harvard had rejected his freshman application years earlier, and partly because, well, actually, there was no other reason. Calvin was a brilliant man, but if he had one flaw, it was his ability to hold a grudge. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, on my tombstone it's gonna say she died holding a grudge.
Oh, wow. I don't think I knew that about you.
Oh my God. Do you remember the list?
Oh, I do remember the list.
See, I know. I still have a list. It's much shorter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I try not to have it. It's something I'm working on, but I can't change it. So I don't know what to say. But anyway, I was like, yep, I really feel that.
I do the same.
I do the same. I was like, I mean, if I applied to Harvard and then they rejected me and then they're like, oh, please come now that we know you're a genius and you can come help build our prestige. I'd be like, no, I'm going to Cambridge for the weather.
It doesn't rain there.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So do you like Calvin at this point?
I do.
Yeah. He seems nice. Like he definitely seemed a little awkward.
He's aloof.
Yeah.
He's aloof and he's not aware of his own privilege.
Yeah.
Which
He's just
again,
kind of like waltzed into each situation, it seems like. Like he seems really smart, but also like for whatever reason, he's also given all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
like, you know, was accepted to all these opportunities, but he's got a lot of opportunities here.
Yes, definitely. The other line was, as any non-rower can tell you, rowers are not fun. This is because rowers only ever want to talk about rowing.
This is so funny.
I thought that was so funny too. I was like, that's the same thing about
Running.
I'm going to call out a lot of people. Running, CrossFit, vegetarian, vegan, keto. What else? Taylor Swift.
I haven't met as many Swifties who are that into Taylor Swift.
It's because you're in grad school right now. Once you get out into the real world, everyone's a Swiftie.
Oh man.
I know. Even me saying this, I need to go into witness protection.
No one can know.
No, yeah, I have to go into hiding because they're going to find me.
Oh my gosh.
They're fearsome.
Yeah. The rowing comment definitely reminded me of runners. And I say that having just come back from a run.
Well, you know, we both identify ourselves in Calvin.
Takes one to know one. Yep. Just like we identified ourselves in D-Love.
Oh no.
Not the most desirable character, but the one.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? Calvin also has nice teeth. And we have excellent teeth.
We do. You have more excellent teeth than I do.
I do.
So.
But we do both have excellent teeth.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Now let's go to where Calvin meets Luscious Lizzie.
Yep. Luscious Lizzie. Okay. Yep. So now we're easy money. Yeah, so Elizabeth is going to get her beakers, and she goes to Calvin Evans' lab, and she doesn't really know who he is. Is that right? Like he's super prestigious, like big researcher, and she's like doesn't care.
I think she knows exactly who he is, and that's why she went into his office. And I think her narrative is she's pretending like she doesn't know that
Yeah,
he's this big deal.
that's probably true. Yeah.
But what we're told is she just randomly picks the most prestigious guy's lab to go raid for beakers.
Well, she's told that he has a surplus of beakers, and if anyone were to have a surplus, it would be probably the most prestigious. So, you know,
All right.
could be. But anyway, so she goes to his lab, and there's this giant sign on there. There's actually a number of large warning signs that all say, "Do not enter, experiment in progress, no admittance, keep out."
Yep.
And then she proceeds to open the door and goes right in. And then this is where they have their whole exchange of him thinking that she's a secretary and her saying, "I'm the chemist," and takes the beakers and leaves.
Yes. But before she says that, what she actually says is, because he's like, "I'm really busy. What are you doing?" And she says, "What a coincidence," she shouted as she went straight over to a shelf and helped herself to a large box of beakers. "I'm busy too." Then she marched out. And I just thought that was such a great line, because every time someone's busy, they think they are either the busiest person in the world or their problem is the most important.
Yeah.
And it just never is.
Right.
My problem is just never that important. And neither is yours.
That's that.
And that's that. And that's why it's just like everyone just needs to dial it down 50%.
Yeah. Everyone's busy.
Everyone's busy. Everyone's got stuff to do. Just what it is. So I just really like that line.
Yeah. I mean, this whole interaction I thought was really fun.
I loved it.
Yeah. He says, "I need every single beaker." He's like, "Maybe you should go speak with a chemist. Like, go talk to your boss." And then she goes, "You want to speak to a chemist? Someone other than me?" It's like, that's funny. But I also thought this section was fun because there's this line that says, "She did not care for people who made assumptions based on what she felt were long outdated visual cues." And she also didn't care for men who believed, even if she had been a secretary, that being a secretary meant she was incapable of understanding words beyond "type this up in triplicate." And I thought that was interesting because, especially based off our conversations in Elantris, shout out to all those episodes. We've been talking a lot about how people make assumptions on what other people are like and what they're capable of, and how those are typically wrong. And so now we're seeing in a more like real life context of, this is where we assume what people are capable of and are often wrong.
Well, this whole thing, it reminds me of, I know we're going so long, but we are going to go on a divergence down memory lane. I remember when I was working in insurance and I worked in Southwest Florida, which had a lot of retirees. We had someone call in and I was like the expert, the senior agent. So like I knew like all the stuff and I was like training the other agents. And this old man called in and he said, "I want to speak to so-and-so." And I said, "That person's busy." I was like, "But I'm more than happy to help you. Like, what is your question?" And he's like, "I have a question about insurance. Like, I need to talk to this guy." And I was like, "I can help you. Like, I do it. Like, whatever you need, I can help you." And he's like, "Let me just talk to John. Like, I need to talk to like a real agent." Like he thought I was like the secretary or like the office girl.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." So I walk over to where the guy is. And once he's available, I tell him, "Hey, this is what's happening." He answers the call. And then he has to put him on hold and he has to ask me the answer. Because he was new.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I was the expert. I was like, he doesn't know anything because I'm teaching him everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
it
just reminded me of that.
He had answered the phone and been like, "Hey, I'm going to send you to the expert, Candice. She's going to answer all your questions," and then just transfer the call.
No, because it's like, that guy he's probably 60, 70 years old. It's like, you're not going to change someone's mind.
Yeah.
to me, it's just not worth it. I think what was nice is just the acknowledgement of like my peer to be like, that guy was crazy.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah. Like, we're not going to change that guy. You're not going to change anyone's opinion. But it's like, if you have like your friends or like your people like supporting you, being like, that was crazy and validating that, to me, that's what felt good.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I haven't had well, okay. I was thinking on like related experiences. I think my closest experience maybe is when I was telling people that I was going to teach, and I taught middle school science and high school math. But I was like, oh, I'm a teacher, or like I'm, going to teach next year. And at least 2 people, maybe more, assumed like, oh, are you teaching like kindergarten? Which is fine because kindergarten teachers do great work and they're awesome. But I was also like, no, I'm teaching pre-calculus. And that did kind of hurt. Of like, like, why is that the assumption? To be fair, I do kind of have a preschooler personality, which is fair.
It's like, okay, here's the deal when it comes to things like that, in my opinion. They're instant thoughts that come into your mind, and you can't control that.
Yeah.
You can't control, I see something, my brain processes it. What I can control are the words that come out of my mouth. And instead of saying, oh, are you teaching preschool? Which is, you have at least a 1 out of 13 chance of being wrong. So already, like, that's not a good guess. You should at least guess elementary or middle or high school. You could just say, what will you be teaching?
Right. No assumptions.
That's it.
It's a good approach.
It's a good approach. So, yeah.
Man, oh man.
Ugh. So I underlined the manifesto of Elizabeth Zott's grudges.
Where's that?
So it was after, so Elizabeth comes back and the lab tech is like, why did you do that? You should have asked me. And she's like, I asked you like 25 million times and you didn't help me. And then she kind of goes into this thing about how she holds grudges. And so the line is, Elizabeth Zott held grudges too, except her grudges were mainly reserved for a patriarchal society founded on the idea that women were less capable, less intelligent, less inventive, a society that believed men went to work and did important things, discovered planets, developed products, created laws, and women stayed at home and raised children. She didn't want children. She knew that about herself, but she also knew that plenty of other women did want children and a career. And what was wrong with that? Nothing. It was exactly what men got. So my thought is that I think this is going to kind of be the outline for the rest of the book.
That she has a child and a career?
That she didn't want children. She ends up with a child.
Yeah.
And what she wants is a career. And so she, and just kind of the idea that she just wants to have like equality.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she's so grumpy in the first chapter, because I don't think she ever saw herself as being a mom. And now she is a mom.
Yeah. And her life has changed.
And now she doesn't get the career either.
She gets to be a chemist. She's also doing it sounds like she's a chemist and a cooking show.
I don't know. It sounds like she's Luscious Lizzie and she's not happy about it.
Yeah. I mean, it does definitely sound like that. But yeah. I mean, it does also sound like she loves her daughter though, too. Like
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does love her daughter. And I know a lot of people where they're like, I never wanted kids, then I had one, and then I'm like, I can't even imagine going back.
Right.
I guess I just mean like where she ended up versus where she thought her life was going to look like is so different.
Yeah. And that's hard.
That can be hard to reconcile.
Yeah. Okay, that was my line where I had the question, do you think it's possible? Have kids and a career?
I think you only have 100% capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to save at least 20 to 30% for yourself. Mm-hmm. So that leaves 70% baseline. And if you want to do both children and a career, those are two opposites. So you can't invest 100% in kids and 100% in career.
Yeah.
You just can't. You
Yeah.
can't. So you just kind of have to choose what you want to do, and you're going to do a mix of it, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of people do a mix. But I think the idea, and I think that was in one of the phases of feminism from my memory, is the idea that you can do it all. You can have it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't.
Yeah.
That's what I think. What do you think?
That's kind of what I think too. And that's what, I don't know if it's advice, but just like what I've heard from other people, like other women I was teaching with, where it's like people are saying that you can have a full career and also be like super involved, like soccer mom with your kids, do all the things. And it's like, you really just can't. You can't do both. Like
No.
you have to choose at some point what you're going to do. So, but that did make me think, and actually in the next like paragraph, it talks about this, about like, different countries whose policies are like family oriented, where it's like, we're going to do something that's best for the family. And so like giving dads more time off to be with the kids, like that'd be great. You can have more of a balance to where, you know, both are possible, or like maybe everybody's part-time, both part-time working, part-time parent, or like, well, you're full-time parent, but
yeah, I know what you're saying, where both people are doing a mix. They're not doing 100% kids, 100% career.
Right. Unless you want to.
Unless you want to. Yeah. But I think there's also, we've been talking a lot of this from like the women's perspective. There's also a flip side to guys where it's like, maybe they want to stay home and they want to be with the kids and they love being super dad.
Yeah.
But if you're a stay-at-home dad, it's like you get so much crap.
Black. Yeah.
So much. It's like, if you're not quote unquote the breadwinner, if you're not doing X, Y, and Z. So it's like, while women have all of these really difficult things that they struggled with at that time, and we still do, it's like men also have things that they struggle with. I think what's hard to be more sympathetic to them is that they tend to get a lot of benefits. Like maybe you both have equal struggles, but then they get unequal benefits. So then you're like,
right. And unequal recognition, I think, is a hard thing too. No one recognizes stay-at-home parents, which I feel like is also part of this, of like, because I read that line, like, women want children and a career, and what's wrong with that? Nothing. That's what men got. And I don't know if the book is gonna like end up like, you can have it all, but like we were just talking about like how you really can't have it all. And part of me was also, I don't know if like annoyed is the right word, but what I don't want to happen is that you then minimize stay-at-home moms, because like that's a really hard job, and like no one recognizes that either. And it's like, just because you're a stay-at-home mom and you don't have a career, like that's still really important work you're doing and is really valuable.
Yeah. And I think that's something where like a lot of women, myself included, can improve upon, of just like recognizing and appreciating like whatever choice a woman decides to do, to be supportive of it.
Yeah.
Because for me, I always get the heebie-jeebies when I hear someone staying at home, because I'm like, that puts you in a precarious position. You're dependent on some guy. You're hoping that he sticks around. You're hoping he doesn't die. Da, 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 da. And I'm like thinking through all these things. But it's like, that's, if someone wants to do that and that's their choice and they feel really comfortable about it and they know their situation better than I do, then they should be able to do that and be supported.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think women, as in general, we can do better on that. Yeah. I
think you're right.
So then she starts hearing about colleagues talking about her.
Oh man, the next like 2 pages were tough reads. Yeah.
So they're just like, she takes herself so seriously. She thought she was better than them. She refused to date. She refused dates from all of them, even the single men. And then, did you pick up on that?
You know, honestly, not until you just read it, because I was just too into the story when I was reading it.
Yeah.
But like, what?
Yeah. So the married men asked her for dates and she said no. And then they were miffed about it. And then like, even the single guys, you won't even go out with the single guys.
Yeah. You're like, I don't need to.
She's like, I don't want to date my coworkers. And then she got into UCLA the hard way.
Which was a
Yeah.
euphemism
Yes.
or an innuendo.
And then they call her a see you next Tuesday.
Wait, what? Oh, I've never heard that before.
Guys, see you next Tuesday. It's a naughty word that rhymes with hunt.
Yep.
And we won't say it here, but see you next Tuesday, Chrissy. That's how you say it in the professional world.
Does this come up in the professional world?
It doesn't often, but sometimes it does. Like right here with Elizabeth Zotz.
Yep.
It did come up in the professional world.
It did. Yeah. Okay, so Elizabeth is hearing all this and she's like right outside the door and they're just like blatantly talking about this and they're all men. She might be the only woman in the lab, a little unclear.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's awful. But then it brings her back to 2 years ago, which is I think the last part of the chapter.
The middle part.
Or this is the middle part of the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when she was finishing her master's in chemistry and she was set to stay on with her same advisor and be in his PhD program. But things take a turn. He has a reputation for
being a creep.
Yeah, being a creep to other women. All the secretaries in the school have left after just a few months because of his approaches. But he's a really respected researcher, and so he doesn't get kicked out because UCLA wants his work there. Anyways, and so then she's there.
But he plagiarizes all of his students' work.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He takes credit for all of their papers. And so he just cranks out so many papers, and that's why they think he's so good, but he's just stealing his students' work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so not a great guy. And it seems like not even a great researcher is also part of it. But anyways, Elizabeth is there late one night, and then he comes in, and how would you describe it?
He rapes her.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what it is. Yeah,
he beats her up. He beats her up, and he rapes her.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh my gosh. So
I saw it coming.
I mean,
you watch too many happy movies. You really got to get on the true crime thing. You would know this from like page 2. I'm like, this is where we're going. if you watch Outlander, I don't know if you don't watch it, you won't like it, but
yeah,
that woman gets raped every season, at least 5 times.
I hate that.
You know what?
Yeah. So this
you
was
get
an
numb to it after a while.
To read.
This was a really bad part to read.
This was really hard. And then it goes into afterwards, she calls the police and she's telling them her whole story, and they clearly are not believing her. They're not even writing down her notes. And instead they ask her, do you have a statement of regret? As in like it was her fault. And do you have an apology? And she was like, oh, also she got out of the situation. Well, she was raped, but she managed to get herself out of it by stabbing him with a pencil, and the pencil actually went into him like 6 inches. So that's pretty dramatic. Anyways, the police officer is asking her for an apology basically, and she goes, I regret not having more pencils, and then she leaves.
Yes. So when I read this, I read it, and then when I did my research on the author, and she described her in that room, and that guy took all the credit.
Yeah.
I'm jumping ahead, so this might be totally wrong, but what I'm imagining is that VP is that professor, and he's stealing her credit. He's stealing the work from her, and he's metaphorically assaulting her.
Right.
And she stabs him with a pencil.
Oh, writing her book. Whoa. And
I think Elizabeth gets pregnant from this. We don't know yet.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
So I've only read till chapter 3, the end of this chapter. I think she gets pregnant from this guy.
Okay.
So that's Elizabeth. But the author, she gave birth to her book from this event.
Whoa.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
That's super interesting. Oh, interesting. We'll
Yeah.
need to write that one down.
Yeah.
What
So
happens.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But I didn't think of any of those things, obviously, when I first read it because I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I was also wondering who is the father of Madeline. The reason I didn't think it was this professor guy is because when she's talking with Calvin in the beginning of the chapter, we saw them like in the lab, but then at the end, they kind of talk a little bit more. And like, I don't know, the Madeline didn't come up at all. And maybe it's because they didn't have a long conversation, but there was, I don't know. I just felt like she would have come up at some point, or even like, I need to go back home to my kid kind of thing.
Well, time out. It couldn't have been now because it's 12 years earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And Madeline's 5.
That's true. Actually, yeah, debunked.
Okay,
Bummer.
immediately debunked.
That was a good thought, though.
I still think that imagery might play in a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like that because yeah, the pencil definitely plays a recurring role. Like it's in her hair all the time or behind her ear, and it was her weapon to get out of this.
Yes, the pencil becomes like her safety net.
Yeah, yeah,
it's her safety net.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, fascinating. Yeah, so that was really hard section. Do you have other thoughts here?
I have one more, but I don't know if you have other ones.
My first line that I have is with the police.
Oh, that's what I have too. So you go.
Oh, okay. So she's talking with the police, sharing all of her experience. And she's like clearly very disturbed, and the police officer clearly does not care and is not believing her. And then he says he flipped his notepad shut. Would you like to make a statement of regret? Then he gave her skirt a glance as if the fabric alone was an obvious invitation. I thought, what? And like this skirt, definitely covering her knees, if not more, but also just, I don't know how ridiculous that is.
I took this as the author saying that there is no perfect, quote unquote, perfect victim of rape. Yeah. Where it's like she's clearly been bludgeoned on the head. She's clearly been assaulted. And even then.
Yeah. They find something where it's like,
yes.
It's her skirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I took that.
This also reminded me, though, of the casino this weekend, because we're walking by all the gambling slots or whatever. And there's so many colors and so many sounds and stuff, whatever.
They do that so you can't go to sleep.
Oh gosh, it works.
I know. There's no windows, so you can't tell the time, and they pump it with oxygen.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Whoa, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Wow,
I know.
Fascinating.
I know. They've done a lot of research on how to get all your money.
I believe it. I mean, it works. So
I know. I know.
But, anyways, on multiple of the slots, there were like women on it, like a mermaid or like a princess or something. And like all of them are like cleavage showing, hypersexualized kind of thing. And I'm just like I tried looking for one with a man. And the one with men were like a Viking who like was like powerful, I guess. Like, I don't know, hyper powering a man, but it like not the same thing. But anyways, it just like really brought to mind of like just sexualizing women's bodies.
Yes, which I agree. But I'm also like the male body to me, it's just not as beautiful as the woman body. So part of me is like, I get it. Nobody wants to see a merman. You just don't.
I don't know.
Maybe you do. Readers weigh in if you've gotten to here.
I mean, I feel like if we grew up seeing mermen, it'd be more normal.
I don't think it's about not being normal. I just feel like maybe this is my internalized misogyny.
Like, why don't we question the women? Why is that normal to have women in wearing nothing.
sexual positions like that.
Right. Right. Like that shouldn't be normal.
You're right, girl. You're right. You're right. But I can't stop thinking that way. I don't know what to do
Right?
now.
It's because it's been everywhere our whole lives.
I'm going to ponder it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Back.
All right. We'll come back to the end of the book. We'll see what I think about mermen. See if I've changed my opinion.
Maybe that'll tie in with the Avengers thing.
Yes. Okay. So now that Elizabeth has given us this wonderful story of her getting raped, because that gets reminded because they're calling her a see you next Tuesday. Now we're back to 10 years.
Oh, right. Right. Oh, and we also learned that this is why she didn't get her PhD, was because she was removed from the
Yes.
program from this. And then also
Yes.
Dr. Myers, her professor, came up with a whole story about like how she threw herself on him and all these things. And of course, everyone believed him.
No, actually, no
Oh,
one
wait,
believed the
actually,
professor,
yes,
but they
that's right.
didn't want to lose someone with the reputation, so they just didn't care.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's awful. But now she has a job. So that's something.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So now we're back to 10 years ago.
Mhm.
And now she's back. She just heard the conversation happening in the office. And the first line I underlined here was that a lab tech came and like saw that she was disturbed and was feeling sick because of what she had just heard. And he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And then like he overheard the conversation too. So then he says, "They're just being fellas. Ignore them."
Mhm.
Which I thought, that's terrible. No. But I think that is what the answer has been for a long time. I'm like, that's just boys being boys.
I guess that's what I wanted when I was in my insurance thing.
What do you mean?
Although I think it's with the customer. I just wanted someone to be like, "Hey, that guy's a jerk."
Oh, yeah.
But I do think it's different if it's like your boss.
Yeah.
It would be nice if he had been able to use like his privilege of being a man and be like, "Don't talk like that."
Yeah. I know. Not like he has a ton of power because he's a lab tech, but you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So that line didn't stick out to you. It stuck out to me of like, ugh,
Mm-mm. What were you thinking about it?
that it's like, oh, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I could see him like he was trying to be comforting, but also it's like, because he wasn't saying like, that's wrong. He was saying, that's just how it is.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
Like, no,
That's true. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Elizabeth goes to the theater.
Oh wait, I have one more line.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then the lab tech, they get into a conversation. He's like, "Why do you want to be a scientist anyways?" And she goes, "I don't want to be a scientist. I am a scientist." And so like
Yes.
and she's like,
I remember reading that.
working in this. Yeah. And then she says like she's faced tough things before. She could weather what came, but weathering is called weathering for a reason. It erodes. I thought that was a good line.
I underlined that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's only so much you can take, and she's taken a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So all right. So then what happens next?
Calvin throws up on Elizabeth and apologizes for assuming she was a secretary.
Yeah, it was a good moment for them. Honestly, throughout this whole section, I was like, good job, Calvin.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to the theater and they happen to be at the same show, but Calvin is actually on a date with someone else who's there for his money because she assumes he has money. I think she assumed wrong from what we're gathering.
She heard a doctor and she thought in medicine.
Different paycheck.
different paycheck.
Slightly different.
Slightly different. Yes. So then Calvin's feeling sick in the theater and then he runs out and then he sees Elizabeth and then he throws up on her dress and then Elizabeth helps him to his house or her house or something and gets him cleaned up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's when he apologizes. Yeah. So I thought this was a great scene because like you see Elizabeth and like she's kind of tough or, no nonsense
Prickly.
because she has to be. But then she sees a sick man who like just threw up on her and her immediate reaction is like, hey, we need to help him. And so she tries to get help and no one really helps, which is concerning. But anyways, she's able to do it. And yeah, she takes him back to his house. And he says again, so sorry. And she goes, it's okay. Like, people throw up. It's fine. And he goes, no, no, no. I mean, assuming you're a secretary that day about telling you to have your boss about telling you, wait, I mean, assuming you were a secretary that day about telling you to have your boss call me. I'm so sorry. And I said, good job, Calvin.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
And then Calvin's confused why Elizabeth couldn't get her supplies.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So later they're talking, right?
Yeah.
They end up getting coffee or something. Yeah. And he's like, why can't you get supplies? Don't you just like fill out a form? And she's like, yeah, I did that like 10 times and no one listened.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And she goes, it's called sex discrimination. That's what's going on here. But also there's politics and favoritism and inequality and general unfairness.
Yes.
And
yeah. So this is where you see Calvin has all of this privilege and it's like he's just totally not even recognizing it.
Yeah.
And so when he's like, why didn't you just get the supplies? And then Elizabeth looked at him as if he just asked how, with all those rice patties, there could possibly be starving children in China. Where it's just like, it's such a different world and you're not even thinking about it. You're just completely oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And then Calvin's shocked that, and then he says, what is sex discrimination? He doesn't even know. Why wouldn't we want women in science? That makes no sense. We need all the scientists we can get.
And she's just like, where have you been?
I know. And he's like, that's why there's no women in the classes? Because they weren't allowed in the schools?
I thought they just wanted to stay home.
Yeah. He's like, I thought they wanted to cook meals. I thought that's what they were built for. You're like, God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so then she's like, well, how many women were in your science classes? And he was like, well, I went to an all male school, so it's different. She was like, well, he's like, well, was there an all women's school next door? And she's also like, well, Calvin, this is the reality. And she says, the problem, Calvin, is that half the population is being wasted. It's not just that I can't get the supplies I need to complete my work. It's that women can't get the education they need to do what they are meant to do. And she's just saying that like women don't have the same opportunities as men. And he's again surprised that like women actually want to be in science. And she's like,
yeah,
gosh. Yes.
She's
we
like,
just don't have
yes.
opportunity. What do you think of those lines? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, because Elizabeth does make a concession where she admits that a lot of women went to school just for an MRS degree.
Right. And that she only knew a handful of women who actually did want to be in science.
So she was kind of like,
yeah, she's like, I'm kind of making this up, but like, I bet there'd be more. But why do you think that is? Like, what do you think when you read that?
About the concession, about like why women just wanted the MRS degree.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about that first. Either MRS or why they don't want to be in science or something.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it has to do with like social conditioning. Like we talked about, if you have no representation, you might not even think it's an option.
Right.
And the line that she put about women all wanting MRS degrees, she's like, it's as if they all drunk something that had rendered them temporarily insane. And I think it's just one of those things where it's kind of how everyone in your generation, my generation, all went to college.
Yeah.
Because we were all told you're supposed to go to college. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go. And then you go and you get a lot of debt and you don't get a job and your life doesn't work out. And you're like, what do you mean?
You're like, I did the thing.
I did it. Yeah. And you're like, my life didn't work out right. So I just think there's so much like conditioning that's happening from a young age and you don't even realize how much you've internalized it. And you're like, this is the path that I have to be on, and how hard it is to break out and do
Yeah.
something different.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a lot of not having representation in other areas to know
Yeah.
that is an option for you.
Yeah. Not even knowing like what's out there.
Right. Okay, what'd you think of the line where it says, it's not that women can't get the materials, it's that women can't get the education they need to do what they're meant to do. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's similar. And I think what the author is trying to say through Elizabeth is that some women do want to just be home with the kids, and that's what they're meant to do. And that's good. But you do have other women, lots of other women who want to do other things, and they are all being pigeonholed into stay at home.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth goes a little too far, I think, out of necessity, because she's like, trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, everyone would be in chemistry if they could. And she's like, actually like, I don't think they actually would, but I'm going to say that because it sounds better than 20% of women would be in chemistry.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is actually the line that made me think of what we had talked about earlier about not wanting to belittle being a stay-at-home mom, because I felt like this sentence was like, women are meant to be in school and to be a chemist or to do other things. And it's like, that's a good thing. But it's like, but also raising kids is a good thing too. And like,
yes,
and again, talking about like biology, like you are able to be pregnant, and like that's a special thing that you're able to do. I don't know.
Yes, I agree. And I think this happens with anyone that's like trying to change the current.
Yeah.
You have to be so steadfast in the opposite direction sometimes that you overcorrect.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to make a movement with nuance, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's just too much,
It's I think it can be hard. Yeah. So I think Elizabeth, in some of her ways, she's a little too hard-headed, but I understand why.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your next line?
I was just gonna end it out.
Okay, yeah, go
That's
for it.
kind of what I have. So I have it with Calvin agrees to help Elizabeth get her supplies. And then I have a cringe or cute.
That's how I ended my chapter too.
Oh my God. Okay, you read it.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me get all the context. Okay, yeah. So Calvin listens to all this and he's like, well, what you should do is don't work the system, but outsmart it. And that's kind of his advice to her. And she's like, that kind of makes sense, but like she doesn't want it to make sense anyways. So then she's thinking about this and she's like, well, why couldn't the system just be smart in the first place? And then okay, yeah. But then they kind of make a deal and they're like, hey, well, maybe we can help each other. Because I think this is the part where he's like, I need your research ability and you need a place in the lab now so we can help each other. And she's like, okay. Then she's like, let's make it clear. This is not a relationship. This is just business. And he goes, yep, just business. She goes, that's it. And then they gathered their cups and saucers and went off in opposite directions, each desperately hoping the other didn't mean it. I thought it was pretty cute.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
That was cute. Because they didn't say it to each other.
Yeah.
They didn't say and then say, I hope you didn't mean that. That would have been cringe. I find things cute when it's like
secret,
quiet.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Inaugural 30 pages. 2 hours.
Was it really 2 hours?
Yep.
Wow. here we are.
Well, how many pages is this whole book? 300?
Oh gosh.
That's half of Elantris.
It's close to 400 for me.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well, we won't do all the front matter again.
That's true. That was a lot. Okay. Predictions for the next part? Do you have any idea? What do you think would come next? What do you want to know?
I don't know that I have any predictions yet. I feel like I'm just along for the ride. I think my one prediction was that she got pregnant with the professor guy.
Right.
Now I'm thinking it's probably Calvin, unless she gets raped again and we're an Outlander.
Oh gosh.
So now I'm thinking it probably Calvin's the dad. So if Calvin's the dad, then my question is, where does he go?
Yeah.
Because he's not in the beginning of the book, and it sounds like she's a single mom.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
I'm just kind of wondering how that's going to play out. What about you?
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I was predicting Calvin is the dad, but yeah, I don't know where he goes either. I don't know.
I hope he doesn't get her pregnant and then dips.
I know. I don't think he does. I think something else is going to happen. Think he dies?
What if Elizabeth kills him and steals his identity?
What? And
he's in the
under
basement.
his name. Oh,
yeah.
This is like pregnant.
She steals his identity. Yeah.
In the basement.
Yeah. Room. With Brie Larson.
Gosh. Oh no. She was perfect for the role. I don't think so. I don't think she's gonna kill anybody.
I don't think she's gonna kill anyone either.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, those are mysteries, but that's a question I would like to have answered.
All right, readers, weigh in. Send us an email. For the love of God, send us an email.
So it's not just TikTok emailing us.
I know. And follow us on all the socials, because it's just me speaking to the ether.
You could vote on our Instagram poll that we will not look at. We'll look at it, but we'll ignore the results.
Yes, that is the Booklicious way.
Yep.
We want the feedback. We will not use it. Beautiful.
Well, this has been a great episode of Bookalicious. Like we said, follow us on the socials. Email us at bookalicious.pod@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time for chemistry.
Yes. Or Elantris.
We'll have both for the next
little
bit.
Yep. Listen to them all.
Yep. Twice, like we do.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bookalicious. If you like this discussion, please rate or subscribe to our channel to help other book lovers find this content as well. If you have any questions or suggestions for future books, we'd love to hear from you at bookalicious.pod@gmail.com. As always, thanks for joining our club.